On today's episode, we talk with Kim Dombrowski from Impressive Home Staging, who serves the Virginia Beach and surrounding areas. Listen in as Kim shares about how her team is making a difference with her staging services for vacant and occupied homes. Now let's jump into the conversation.
This is the Stager Boss podcast from StagerBoss.com with the founder of HSRA, Jana Uselton. The Home Staging and Redesign Association is a group of like-minded professionals dedicated to revolutionizing the real estate industry by making a difference in the lives and businesses of home stagers and redesigners everywhere. Join us as we talk to the best of the best in this industry from all over the world and hear how they are using their training and experience to make a difference in the clients they serve. If you are a real estate industry expert looking for better ways to market and sell properties, join us for this podcast series.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our Stager Boss podcast. We are super excited today. We always bring you the best of the best home staging companies throughout the country. And we're so honored to have Kim Dombrowski here. And they are with Impressive Home Staging. They serve the entire area. You know, we were just there. It was so amazing. But Virginia Beach, that whole entire area that they're able to really help people that have property to sell. And so we're going to talk with her today. And I would just love to welcome Miss Kim.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, how are you guys doing there in the Virginia Beach area? Tell me a little bit about the weather, the market. How are things going?
Well, the weather here is pretty hot. It's been in the 90s and very humid. So it makes it a little challenging with doing deliveries and whatnot, but it's great. It's been a busy spring season, though. I mean, we've been super busy.
That's good. Lots of property. And of course, you know, here now we have these vacation rental opportunities. People are just all over, trying to find homes, short-term rentals for their family and taking that option instead of the hotels. So I'm sure in kind of that destination location that you're in, that's another part of the market, right?
Yeah, we're just going to start getting into that with Airbnb type properties. We're going to start one next week for one of the builders who's building some homes to be rented out.
That's amazing. That's great. Well, tell me a little bit about your business, how you got started even in this industry.
Right. Well, my background was in corporate and IT management. And, you know, as one door closes, another one opens. And it was just soul searching, trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And just always loved HGTV and whatnot. So decided to start this business in 2010. So in January, it's going to be 10 years we've been in business, which is hard to believe. You know, and of course, like everybody, you start out with, you know, in the fourth bedroom of your house or your garage, and then go into a storage unit and working by yourself for a while. And over the years, you know, you're adding team members, and here we are now in a 4,400 square foot warehouse in Virginia Beach, and got 9 employees and a great team. So
that is wonderful. And when you think about the services that you, I was just talking with one of our members of the association, and she's kind of getting started. I said, you know, I said yes to everything and then figured out what I love to do. So as you guys are really, after 10 years, you figured it out. You figured out what you love to do. So what services do you offer, and what's your sweet spot of services?
We primarily do vacant home staging. That's pretty much what everyone's calling us for. We do some of the owner-occupied, we're using their furniture, but then supplementing and bringing in some art and pillows and whatnot. And then just do staging consultations to be able to help prepare homes, do walk and talk type of consultations to prepare homes for listing.
Yeah, that's good. So your ideal clients?
Of ideal clients, well, we're working with builders, flippers, realtors, homeowners directly. Pretty much all of them.
Yeah, anyone that calls that has a home that needs to be, serviced and merchandised and really that facelift look. So, what about design? Are you guys sourcing that out or referring that out, or is that something in house that you may do some redesign projects?
We have done some, but we're not taking on any of those type projects right now. We're just too busy with the vacants. They just take a lot of time to work on for a specific project. So we're sticking with the vacant homes for the most part and the occupied homes.
Yeah, that's great. And so when you think about people working with you and maybe they have a house and they're contemplating this whole staging thing, right? They've watched HGTV. They've seen that most people are doing it if they want to get that top dollar. What would you say to those clients that maybe just potential clients, right? Future clients that have not used staging, but have some questions to answer, like what value does it bring?
Right. Well, I mean, you just go through explaining how much faster you could be selling the home and getting, the asking price or even above asking price is what we're seeing, rather than keeping it on the market and not getting any offers and having to maintain it. It just makes sense.
It does. It absolutely, literally makes sense. Not only makes sense, but makes sense. If we could exchange that dollar for a 10, right?
Yeah. And it's just minimizing the carrying costs that they would have if, because it's so often there'll be a house on the market for a few months, they don't get any bites, and then they have us come in and stage it, and boom, first weekend they get an offer, and they're like, oh, why didn't I do this from the beginning?
Exactly. When you think about it's typically less than that first price reduction, and most agents, it's like, we've got to get this home, we've got to find the sweet spot of pricing, but there's price elasticity. Sometimes there's not a true comp, and if we stage it, then we can gain that extra 20, 40, depending on the price point. Maybe that's over $100,000. So are you guys doing work with entry-level properties up to luxury? I mean, what do you love to do? What projects?
Yeah, we do luxury homes now. That would be, the $1 million type homes and a lot of waterfront properties, and a lot of new construction. But there is still a lot of the flipped houses that are in the low, 200s, 250s that we do volume on. So we do everything in between. And we're servicing really Virginia Beach all the way to Williamsburg. So there's different styles too, the coastal versus, traditional, and also about this area, there's a lot of military here. So it's very transient, and a lot of people are selling their houses. So it's interesting.
So you mentioned that, there's so many styles, not only to the home, but the area. Whenever you have a project, maybe you have a client, they have this home and they're calling you guys. How are you taking on that project? What happens in-house to make sure the target buyer is going to see the right stuff in the right home? I mean, I know, it's a lot of moving parts behind the curtains, so to speak, with our own staging business here in Dallas. So how do you guys navigate that?
Well, we have 3 lead stagers, and, they go in and review the house and come up with a design plan, and they collaborate. And we're getting into buying our own furniture because we were renting for a long time, but just buying a lot of neutrals and just bringing in some beautiful art and rugs and all of the color that we can use in multiple properties really is what we're doing now.
It's almost like a proven repeatable system, or that formula that you can duplicate.
And what I'm so surprised at is every week people want to buy the furniture that's in the house. They want to make an offer on the house and either buy items or the entire setup. It's just so flattering, Right. They want to just move right in.
It's such a good thing, especially in a destination location where this might be a second property. So it's nice to know that your company will work with people that are in a certain situation where maybe they just love it, or they just say, you know what, we have to move quickly and we just want to bring our bags. Those are the things that we love whenever we're working and partnering with people. And so I'm sure you have a couple of success stories that have recently even happened. Can you share with the audience, some houses, maybe a story about, staging or whether it was a vacant or an occupied, and just the difference that it made and what that result was?
Yeah, I mean, like I said too, the experience of it not being staged and showing that it does, or even just getting an offer on the first showing, we're seeing that a lot too, as soon as we stage it, it gets professionally photographed, the next day gets listed, and we're seeing the first showing, they're getting offer or multiple offers.
Yes.
And
yeah. That's not a one and done story. I mean, there are stories all over the nation. It's like, if they could just plug in that one piece, right? It's that missing link, that missing piece of the puzzle. And who knew it was staging? Yes, professional photography. Yes, the marketing plan. Yes, the right price. But when they don't plug in staging, it literally becomes the game changer once they do. And as you mentioned, starting out with the right foot forward and make the decision now. Are you guys hearing that people will say, well, let's just wait and see? And then, yeah.
Well, they used to, but we can usually convince them to, it's definitely worth the investment. So.
Yeah. That's good. And if you maybe are listening, maybe an agent is listening and they are dealing with a seller that is just like, you know what, I don't want to spend the money. Let's just wait and see. And if it doesn't sell in 40 days, then we'll look at this. I mean, what kind of advice would you give that agent that's kind of combating, that difficult seller?
Yeah. I mean, it's just trying to help them understand that it's such an emotional connection as soon as they walk in that front door, and you're setting a lifestyle, and it's an emotional experience when they come in, and everybody is looking at the pictures online to decide what houses they want to go, to want to preview for showings, and the pictures mean everything. So having great photos and having it staged to create that, compared to virtual staging,
right.
It's different, it really is different. So, but we do partner with a lot of realtors who they just totally get it, and we're hand in hand,
You're a team.
Yeah, for sure. So
that's so good. That's good. And you're exactly right. I mean, people start their search online and it's literally like they're online dating properties, not only people, but properties. And so it's all about, the look of that property to gain that attention. And that when they show up to a property, they want to see who they think they're meeting, the same person that looks like what they look like online. Same thing with a property. And so you mentioned virtual staging, and sometimes that might be like, oh, well, this is the cheaper option. But the reality is sometimes it can have that negative impact because they walk in and they're like, this is not who I thought I was meeting, and I can't visualize. So that's good to really use those examples. If you are that agent that's trying to convince or communicate the value of the investment. And, the 2 weeks, we say 2 weeks and 10 minutes, 2 weeks, most people are going to be coming through and you sure don't want to lose them. And it's taken 10 minutes on average to walk through that property. So whenever you're selecting the inventory, what typical rooms are you guys staging, and what kind of environment are you trying to create?
Well, for the most part, we do all of the main common living spaces and the master and all of the bathrooms. I don't feel like you have to always do the secondary bedrooms as long as they're not too small or weird shape. So usually the main rooms and the master.
Yeah, that's good. And that gives people a good visual, good feel of what that property is going to be like, once they purchase. And so I love it. Now, are you guys doing any kind of education or, lunch and learns, or any type of a promotion that you're doing that other people can at least meet you guys and connect with you?
Right. Well, we will be doing more of a warehouse tour later this year, since we just moved in January to an awesome space. I think it's a great way because everyone's so curious about how the whole operation works. So I'd love to do that. We do summer and winter sales as well that have people come and sell off some of the older furniture, which is always a hit. But no, we're not doing any education just yet. I want to start getting into teaching CE classes. But we certainly are getting educated through your training events and other conventions, and just keeping our team up on trends and everything.
Yeah, that's so important. And like, because, we love that education can flow and a lot of times it's one thing to be in an area where people understand staging and they understand the power and they've had that experience with it. And then some areas, and that's probably more the area that you're in. Some other areas, it's like you have to convince people and show the value of staging, number one, and then number two, why you're the best of the best in the area as far as the company, the right choice. And so if people are deciding, well, should I go with stager A, who's charging $500 to stage my $1 million vacant property, or should I go with, they seem a little bit more professional and reputable. They actually have a warehouse, so they have a team. I don't know if you get those tire kickers and they're like, I just want the cheaper stager, but we know you get what you pay for. So how do you handle that when people are trying to choose? What advice would you give them?
Right. Well, I think first of all, we are a very professional company, and first off, we answer the phone. That's some of the frustration. They want to call around and get quotes, but can't reach anybody. So we can give them quotes over the phone, and
yeah, it's like, are they what they expect? We literally had the situation last week where client went with a cheaper stager. And they were supposed to stay. They, of course, earned the bid because they were cheaper. And, cheaper, we know is not better. You usually get what you pay for. So they had to call us back and they said, you know what? This is almost like one of those calls you never want to make, or you don't want to receive it either. But they said, the stager A called and said they had to back out because they couldn't do the job. And it was like day before. So we had to wrangle up everybody and fit them in. We're typically scheduling a week out, because busy companies are growing and earning new business. And I don't know if that's happened to you guys, but it's like, they think that they're getting one thing, and it's not okay necessarily to just go with the cheapest option.
Right. No, I mean, with us, you're going to get a beautiful look and a style that is why we get so many referrals and repeat business. So.
It's so true. So true. You guys do magazine quality and your team is phenomenal. We were just with you guys a couple of months ago doing training, and here they are on a Saturday when they could have been, with family and friends, and they literally were learning and growing new ideas, new concepts, seeing what other staging companies are doing throughout the country to adapt and implement. And in an unlicensed industry, it's so important because you can have stager A, and then you can have company, that is reputable. And yes, we kind of all start out as stager A, but we don't. I think the great companies grow from there, and we literally we don't want to diminish those small beginnings. But at the end of the day, if we've got a property that needs to be staged, you don't necessarily want to go with, the cheapest option, because we're literally building model homes in every single project, and you can't compare apples to apples.
And when it's not done right, it really doesn't help the process,
No. It doesn't. And it doesn't help our industry, because now someone may have a bad experience and they're like, forget staging, it didn't work for me. And so I think making the right choice, and we know agents, it's their fiduciary responsibility to educate, not necessarily just get the cheapest price when it comes to this. So love it.
The other thing too is important to know, we have enough inventory to do 50 houses at the same time. We've gotten up to 59 houses, but 50 I feel more comfortable with. That's a lot of properties to manage. So, I mean, things are coming in the door and out the door every single day, and we can keep up with the calls.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, we don't have much.
You can handle the builder that says, hey, I have, not just one project, but several projects. You have the team to be able to facilitate not only the drop-offs, but the pickups in a timely manner, and make sure that, it's a well-oiled machine. And that takes a lot of man and woman power, let me just say. So kudos to you guys. How can people contact you if they're maybe in your area and looking to work with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, just if you Google Impressive Home Staging, or just call us directly at 757-803-3877, and we'll pop up as the first one when you Google us. So
that's perfect. Well, I love it. And we'll have all the information down below as well. And super excited to always work with you guys. Look forward to the next level growth in your business as y'all literally take it. It's like you're breaking the ceiling, and you're also not only making a difference in people's lives, but you're making a difference in community. You're helping raise market value. You're helping property be turnkey, move-in ready, which demands that top dollar. So I look forward to seeing the growth.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you,
thank you so
Kim.
much. All right.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Talk soon. Bye-bye.